if you've been in this world, this niche of nursing, you know that you're going into unknown every single time. It could be related to mental health crisis. It could be a long-standing intimate partner violence. It could be sex trafficking, gang-related, drug abuse.
Date rape.
Absolutely. That's my number one, meeting on a dating app for the first time, taking them to their own home.
Today, Alex and Julie are joined by Amanda Cook, forensic nurse examiner, representing FERN, a group of specially trained sexual assault examiners. Welcome to the We Share podcast. I'm Julie.
I'm Alex.
We share ourselves and we provide a platform for others to share.
We believe everyone has a purpose and a story to tell.
And we're back on the We Share podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Julie. We need to keep that.
I'm Sam.
It's all picking
She forgot her name. But I think it's funny. I think you should keep it.
We'll keep it. Okay, take
attention,
two.
It's attention grabbing.
Yeah, take two.
Okay.
We're back on the We Share podcast. I'm Julie.
And I'm Alex.
And joining us today is Amanda Cook. At the base level, a registered nurse, but there's so much more to it. She's a forensic nurse examiner. She and I have been friends for many, many years. She reached out to me because it's truly a need for people who are sexually assaulted in the area to have a safe place to go to. And Amanda is part of a group of people that do that safe place. So we're going to learn all about it today. Thank you for joining us, Amanda.
Welcome, Amanda.
Thank you, guys. I feel so excited to be here and share what we do. Honestly, not a lot of people like to hear about it. I don't really get to hear about it or talk about it with my friends, family, because it's kind of taboo.
Well, it's
heavy.
Uncomfortable, right?
Like, it is.
We've all probably had a brush or a close brush with some sort of assault.
Right.
And sexual assault. You probably know the statistics, but I'd say almost every female at one point has had someone do something.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they say there's so many statistics out there, and you can only take them for what population they got it from. Mm-hmm. But they say 1 in 3 women in the world have had some type of encounter. We see higher numbers actually around here for intimate partner violence than is seen statistically. It just doesn't always get reported.
That checks out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And sex assault really is just the tip of the iceberg. It just happens that Idaho has the law for sexual assault, Jane Doe kits. So if you have been assaulted and you want to receive medical treatment and care to make sure your body's healthy and safe, you can do so without involving law enforcement. But our law states specifically that's for sexual assault. And those that are going through intimate partner violence and who are getting assaulted maybe every day in their marriage and not having, there's a lot of power and control and things we don't talk about. There's extreme forms too, and the patients that we see, they're not protected by that law unless there's a sexual assault component. Otherwise, we would have to report as mandatory reporters.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's always weird how those two things cross over so much. What happens in a legislative chamber affects the sexual assault charges so much. And it varies from state to state widely. Like
Absolutely.
There's so many different versions of what sexual assault even is defined as. And I know all this because of my crime podcast. And people will just demand, and you'll be like, sorry, that crime happened in Ohio, and they don't even recognize that as a crime there. You have to be aware of what's going on in the state. All right, Amanda, let's start because I know you're so passionate about this. You have a group of 9 volunteers who have gotten together and doing some work together. Explain that to us.
Yes. Well, it wasn't something we desired to do. Absolutely not. We have just branched away from our advocacy center that we worked closely with just to expand. We were hitting the cap of what we could do with the grants we were given to do this work. So we really serve as like a bridge between that legal and system-based hospital network so that when officers come in, they know where to go. We do the chain of custody. We work with them closely. But we are also by trade nurses, medical providers. Some of us are, NPs or PAs. But we knew that we needed to do more in education and empowering our survivors based on what we've seen We see about 130 patients. That's been like our max. But since we've been building the program in the last, it would be 12 years. Since we've been building this program, we've served about 130 as of this last year. And the outcomes are not always prosecution, right? We see about 1-2%. And that's where most of our grant funding comes from. So yes, we had funding to do our job and do it well, but we were seeing consistent poor outcomes. And we were also losing contact with all of the victims we would, see. And they're patients to us, not victims, right? But it was just very frustrating as a provider, and knowing that holistically prosecution is just one way of getting justice for a survivor. Mm-hmm. We knew that there's so much more to that. And if you've been in this world, this niche of nursing, you know that you're going into unknown every single time. It could be related to mental health crisis. It could be a long-standing intimate partner violence. It could be sex trafficking, gang-related, drug abuse.
Date rape.
Absolutely. That's my number one, meeting on a dating app for the first time, taking them to their own home. So then the safety component to that, and needing a safe place now that somebody has been invited to their home and knows where their residence is. So being there in the crisis world, we as a collective of providers decided that we wanted to start pursuing other types of grants and start tracking our outcomes accordingly. We needed to figure out a way that is like evidence-based, that how do you track something like empowerment? There's like no way to do that.
You wanted to really feel like, hey, we met you, we helped you, but long term, did we make a difference?
Yeah.
Because you felt like...
Yeah. Because you could just say...
You were losing contact.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
We had money, and we had lots of money and lots of support. But when you're actually doing the work and then they go and they disappear, you didn't do any good. It doesn't feel like that, right? So we're creating a warmer system. Do you have any
statistics about people who, if a woman is sexually assaulted, whether in any of those situations you listed, are you more likely to be repeat assaulted?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So this following them probably puts a barrier to that repeat assault.
That is the goal.
Yeah.
And we've
like
been trialing this.
A network.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And
to
the network.
Come lean.
Yes. I guess that's why we named ourselves what we are called.
Yes. What are you called?
Yeah. Thank you. We are called FERN. We actually were sitting in a coffee shop one day and just like, what should we do? And this name came up. We know we liked FERN because it's all about new beginnings and growing when you would think no life could grow there, because it's the worst time. We're in crisis mode. Everybody shares us their deepest, darkest secrets. And we need to be able to take that and use our knowledge to send them on a positive trajectory. And that's like a FERN. If you can grow anything in light, that's the acronym we wanted to use. And so then FERN stands for Forensic Examination and Response Network. So the response in the network part. We have collaborated now with our chaplains of Idaho.
We've had the chaplains on. Yeah, we love them.
Wonderful. They're hearts of gold.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Angels.
And they're doing this all volunteer too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then we have another sister company who's now our partner. They saw us in the community throughout these last years, right? They're called 1614 Revival Foundation, and they are a group of survivors also who noticed the gaps in Eastern Idaho. They're around the same age. They've lived in the same community, and they have started a nonprofit that's been functioning the last 2 years. And they have just been such a godsend and took us under their wing when we were flailing on our own, just trying to do the work and hope somebody would just, pick us up or realize that,
we want
to continue, but this will exhaust itself and we will run out of steam.
Right. You're human.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I don't know why people think that these helping jobs means you have to live in poverty and do everything for free, because we all have families. And that's what we want. We want sustainability, but we don't want the pressure all on us.
Right.
We need to have warm handoffs. Mm-hmm. And there's so much to say statistic-wise about that, warm handoffs.
What a beautiful phrase.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I love it.
Sexual assault is anything but warm. Mm-hmm. So you're bringing that to them. A warm handoff is we were safe. We were a safe place for you, and we want to move you safely to another safe place and have that safety continue.
And it could literally be handholding. And us as nurses know we're kind of handholders in that. We're there for that emotional moment and for that very sensitive information about themselves, their body, what happened, so that we can use it in the judicial process and obviously for their medical care. That's the primary
Well,
purpose.
you come in
educate.
with that role, that level of trust from the victim or the patient.
Yeah.
Just from the get-go.
Yeah. Will you briefly describe a timeline of if somebody has been assaulted? What does that look like as you bring them through?
Yeah. So our group covers about 10 counties. So we're very rural. And that's why we cover so much square mileage. So if somebody's assaulted, let's say in the city of Idaho Falls, we're going to have a quicker response time. But all of our staff, all of our providers, they work within the community in various scopes. Some are charge nurses at IRMAC, or they're working at IFCH or home health. But we come to those hospitals to fulfill what CMS requires, and that's a 24/7 response team for violent crimes, because it is a statute.
So the hospital's the one that calls you?
Yes,
Okay.
and or law enforcement.
Okay.
Since we are the bridge, hospitals are our partners always, and so they call us knowing that we're the team of certified SANEs, and we will come in at, we shoot for 30 minutes when we get the call.
Oh, that's much quicker than I would have thought. You said a 24-hour response, but
Depending on
that
where
is
our
so
nurses
fast.
live.
Yeah.
Yes, but we could have a nurse live in Rexburg, and we're responding all the way to Pocatello because we cover so many spots.
Yeah.
Pocatello has their own SANE program, but we always fill the need when they don't have 24/7, because those programs that have their nurses in-house, they fill their time floating other areas. And so most of the time the patient will sit for maybe a 12-hour shift until a SANE is available. And so if there is somebody assaulted in the 10 counties that we cover, that's a lot of square mileage for us to get to them.
Absolutely.
Or for officers to bring them to us.
Right.
So we have options. We can go to Rexburg, Idaho Falls. Pocatello is wonderful. But it really depends on where the nurse lives, because we can recruit throughout. And
Are you
if somebody's
actively
available.
recruiting?
yes, and there's so many nurses that want to do it volunteer. It's just we have no funding right now. So yes, we're active. But right now we're saying it's all volunteer, but you wouldn't believe how many nurses want to still do it. It's a different story once you get in it and you start doing cases, because historically only 1 out of 3 will survive after the year to 2 years of orientation that it takes to learn this niche and feel comfortable on your own, because we're doing a provider's work as a nurse. It only takes but it takes a registered nurse to become a SANE. That's like the minimum requirement.
Okay.
And with that, it has empowered so many nurses, including myself, to take this on as a leadership role and really hone in on this specific scope, that we are the providers. And
and there's a
our
need
safety
for you,
plan
clearly.
is very holistic, very in the moment, based on what they want and their autonomy. And we're just hoping for better outcomes, and using that warm handoff and our community resources, case management, full spectrum psychology has been helping us with handing them off for case management.
All right, Amanda. So the timeline is that you try to respond within a half hour, but sometimes it takes 12, depending upon geography and everything. After the point of the examination, what is that follow through, that warm handoff? What does that look like?
Yeah, thank you for asking. So in the past, we had nobody with us. It was a call for a SANE, and the SANE would be the only one responding. So then we would be coordinating with law enforcement, the patient, family, and then any other resources. And after that, we would have to stay with the evidence. We can't even walk that patient to the door. And as nurses, that's weird to us that you can't. That's what we do. We walk them to the door and make sure we saw that they were safely transported elsewhere. But we have to stay with the evidence. So it's been very hard being the only person there to support them, because everybody else kind of takes a back seat because they don't want to be in that record for subpoena reasons. because we'll be going up there to testify for what we've done.
Pause for just a second. What a lonely place if you're the victim.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to touch you.
Yep.
What a lonely place.
Yeah.
That's horrible. Okay, keep going.
Yeah. No, that's exactly right. So now what we are doing is having a crisis team meet them even before the scene. So even if we're ready to go, the chances are there's going to be a nurse not available for up to 12 hours or more. So if that's the case, somebody should always be responding besides just the nurse. We do one job.
Is that where the chaplains come in?
Yes. And actually, I should have backtracked because 1614, our sister partnership, they're really the foundation who is bringing this all together. Chaplains are going to be helping with the crisis component, yes. But initially, we're going to get one of our advocates at 1614 to come.
We got to have 1614 in.
Yeah,
I don't know how I haven't even heard
She
of
wanted
them.
to be here. Yes, they've only been around 2 years, but they are a byproduct of the gaps.
Let's reach out to them and get them in.
Yeah.
They would have a great story. And they actually do podcasts for survivors. And
That's awesome.
we haven't been doing it because funding, and now they've taken on FERN, and we're just trying to make it work and not let the community know it's in chaos, but there could be a point where none of those 10 counties have somebody responding for them. And then what happens? Like, yeah, there's a disconnect.
There's clearly
Huge
a
disconnect.
need, without, and the need's not being met in all aspects.
Yes, and that's because funding is tied up. It's tied up where they think that there is nurses available to do that, or people think that there's already a plan in progress, right? You would think you go to the hospital and
Like
there's a plan.
ignorance is bliss. Like,
Yes.
oh, it's taken care of.
Yeah, but when you're that one, it's like, oh, no wonder they have no faith in what's going on in
In
their
the system.
community.
Yeah.
I remember Alex and I interviewed a mother of a murder victim once, and she talked a lot about how you just don't know. Like, this is not something you're taught to handle. You don't know what you're supposed to do after your child is killed. Like, or what should you say on social media, or how should you move forward, or how should you react with police? So as someone who deals with this on a regular basis, what would you say to a potential victim of how are they supposed to advocate for themselves in this situation? Let's say they show up at Bingham Memorial. What should they be doing if they're a victim?
That's a great question. And really, we shouldn't expect anything from them. And that's what we are there for them. And your trauma response can be so varying, from giggly to weeping uncontrollably. And what we do is we document every moment of that. Because 2 years later, when this goes maybe to court, again, very slim chances because of just the way it is, we have to be able to read that and see that person.
Go back to that moment.
Yes, we have to go back and see them and where they were at. And you can tell a lot about somebody by those trauma responses that they're portraying. And that's just part of our documentation and part of our education on how to be trauma-informed and give trauma-informed care. And that's just meeting them where they're at. So that's why we don't expect anything from them. All of those are going to be normal for what they've gone through. And it's not us to judge. That's 100% true and fact for us, and we're going to treat them based on what they tell us.
Wow.
I think that would be very comforting to know that someone's going to sit with you and not judge you.
Absolutely
Not go, why did you put yourself in that situation? Or, which I'm sure has occurred.
Because a lot of
before.
victims do blame themselves.
Oh, there's so much, yes, there's so much shame and guilt that is associated with it. And that's what we try to help them avoid, that stigma. And we always refer them to some of the educations that would be helpful, like the consent and tea video. There's just certain things that we will give them at that point to help push to decrease those feelings, because they are a survivor. It did happen. Your feelings are valid. And you're here in the worst moment of your life, and we're just commending them for coming forward, because in our minds, how brave of you for wanting help for your body, because nobody wants to be here and claim rape, right?
Right, no.
Or even intimate partner violence. But also, I think of it as a public safety concern that there's people out there preying on vulnerable people. Or even the strongest person in the world could get assaulted. That's just a very rare occurrence. A lot of the times it's people preying on other people, knowing what triggers
Right.
and buttons to
Catching
push.
you at a vulnerable moment.
It's a lot of that intimate
Or
partner.
grooming you to that place.
Absolutely.
As well. I'm sure that listeners would want to know, you help children too. It's not just
Yes.
adults.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So there's an option also if it's your 12-year-old daughter or your
Yes.
9-year-old son or
Yes,
whatever.
Absolutely. In Eastern Idaho, we have Upper Valley Child Advocacy Center, which does help with law enforcement and that forensic interview component. So an officer doesn't have to scare the child. They have a nice young, lady, a forensic interviewer who's able to get that history from that child. But then there's a group through Just for Kids with Dr. Gardner, and then our group that also does 24/7 call if there is an assault and say a father comes in with their child to any one of these hospitals, they will be calling us if it's after hours.
Okay.
FERN.
I think that would be that question that I ask of how do you advocate for yourself? I think part of that is just knowing someone will be there.
Yes.
I'm not going to be left alone in this, or, I'm not going to be handled by a sterile nurse who isn't trained in this at all and doesn't know what to even do with me at this point. Yeah.
Yep.
From the time of a rape or an assault, how quickly do they need to get into you?
That's a really good question. And this kind of goes along with our response time. It correlates with that. Because in the state of Idaho, you have 5 days to report an assault, 120 hours.
We're back to those legislative rules.
Yep.
There we go.
And our lab is very good. They can exceed that, but we really have to stick with that 5 day so that when we triage, if say it's a holiday, I don't know, sometimes you've got nurses gone and there just is no coverage. And how sad that it's relied upon this one group. But when that happens, we always make sure that there's somebody within that 5 day window and we act accordingly. We have a system where we contact all of the nurses on the roster within 30 minutes if nobody's available. And then in that same time, we're also going to a plan B and calling for the hospital or law enforcement another program of SANEs that might be available, like in Pocatello or going to Salmon. But chances are we're still going to be the next first response, sadly.
Okay.
So they will end up doing, we're hoping again, a warm transition, because if that happens,
and if it's a little delayed like that, yeah.
they're just sitting in that room, and that's what we have hated the most and why we like to act right then. But it's not even good enough when that patient still has to talk to law enforcement. They report, if they wanted to report, and they're just sitting there without providers, waiting on law enforcement. It's just it's a really bad feeling.
Well, and they
that
might
we
have
get.
even been sitting with it themselves before they came to you,
Yeah,
deciding
absolutely.
if they were going to come in.
Officers always tell
Or
us
to
that.
be safe to where they could come in. Like, say if it happened on a weekend, they
Yeah.
needed to wait till it was a Monday and the perpetrator, if that's what we call him, was gone,
And they always feel so bad that we had to come in, because you could tell there's a delay, that there's somebody like that they're calling us from somewhere. I mean, you can just tell that. And we're always apologizing profusely if it's been a minute so sorry, or we'll call them to give them an understanding or let the officer know this is where she's at, her ETA, because they need to be communicated to. And I lost my train of thought.
That's okay. Let's talk about how can you bring in more funding. So I know we have an event that you're doing that will obviously help with that. But what are other options before we get to the event? How do you apply for grants? Or if somebody wanted to make a private donation, is that option available?
Oh, heavens, yes, that's available. And right now we're just kind of living on a prayer because we don't have any grant funding. We sure know how to do it, but right now, as volunteers in this work, we really are just making sure that we have coverage and that we start promoting those outcomes with our community partners. Sorry about that. So the best way to support and help, we've created a system through 1614 Revivals Foundation. It is, and it's 1614revival.org is the website. And you can donate $5 a month, $10 a month. You can do a lump sum if you want to, if you support this mission. It really is just going to take word of mouth, understanding that the simple plan isn't happening, and we could make it happen if we just all work together. And that website will help, because even if you've been a survivor yourself and you don't make a ton of money, I think the giving back of $5 a month, it's going to be huge. And even if we don't get big, heavy hitters, every survivor we've helped is probably going to want to give back. And we just need to reach everybody in our community.
Every
and
little
let them
bit, yeah.
That, those who have supported you, we've branched out, and we're here for all the good reasons, a lot of heart and love. And we just want to make systems better, not to replace anything, but to fill the gaps.
Yeah. Help someone. Okay, tell us about your event that you've got coming up.
Okay, yes. So this makes me very excited. We are doing a Sing for Survivors event. It is actually like a karaoke for a cause type of evening. Yes. Where we're going to have a barbecue dinner, cake. Children are welcome. We're even going to do a prize for children when K-pop Demon Hunter comes on. And it's kind of my,
They love that.
I cry. I love it. I love it so much. So I'm going to dress up as Remy. And the whole premise is we're theming it throughout the decades. So if you purchase a table, you can, if your theme or your decade is still there, like we have the 90s taken right now, then you dress up like that. So when you karaoke, you could potentially win contest prizes like best battle of the bands or best, costume or, cover photo or whatever we're going to call it. But the whole night is just supposed to be fun and light and loud and silly, and we're going to look stupid, but we'll all laugh because we're going to be shining light on such a heavy subject. And that's only going to take a small bit. I promise you, we don't want to be there lecturing anybody. It really is just going to have hidden information about every decade's legislative laws, or every decade's, what was happening. What were the stats of intimate partner violence? Or they used to call it, that's just, what is it? In-home arguments. They used to call
domestic violence, but not violence.
Yes. It
domestic
was just a home.
dispute.
It did. Yes. Something. Yes. Yeah. So we're going to put in a little bit of the darkness in the world that we see, but we want to be the voices of now, and we are just humans. We want you to see who we are and what we're doing, and really just to help celebrate with us this mission, because the more you know, the better. We're not very good salespeople on how to get ourselves money. This was for us more of, we want everybody to know in our community, friends,
you're a
family.
nurse, so you're going to stay in your lane. We'll find ways to get you money.
Yeah.
And that's what the hard part has been.
Yeah.
Because, it's not to cause chaos. It's to just say, we know how to fix it. And there's so many people that want to help.
We can be here.
Yeah. The heck with grant funding. Our community can help us.
Yeah.
But we're in the beginning of it.
Okay, so when is the event?
So the event is June 13th, and it is at the Function Junction. That's a new event center
I've never
here
heard
in
of
town.
it, Function Junction.
Yeah, I love it. And I just think of that. Connect the kids song.
Yeah, it reminds me of like back
Junction
in the day.
function.
Yeah.
What's your function?
Yes.
Yeah, that one.
Yes, and they are actually right next to like the Coca-Cola warehouse off of Lincoln.
Oh, okay.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And so that's where our event will be, June 13th from 6:30 to, I told them just to put question mark, but apparently for events you have to have an end date so we can clean up. So I guess it's till 10:30.
Amanda's partying clear until 1
Yeah,
o'clock in the
I-
morning. Her and Backstreet Boys
Karaoke.
just going.
Yes.
So how do you get
Only-
tickets?
Well, there's a QR code here, but otherwise you can go to 1614revival.org and you can find your links to get tickets for Sing for Survivors there.
Okay.
You can also find FERN and 1614 on social media, where my face is all over doing advertisements. So if you see a kooky gal, that's this gal.
Love it.
Yes.
Love it.
Please,
but it's a
please
warm
support.
gal because like I said, I've known you, and I wouldn't picture anyone better than Amanda if I had a daughter that had been a horrible victim of sexual assault. I would want an Amanda there for my daughter. So
Thank you.
yeah, you're doing great work. We like to close out every podcast by talking about a personal experience. And I know you have a very one that is so dear to your heart that you are now paying forward based upon what happened with that personal experience. So feel free, take the time, tell us about this event in your life.
Yeah. So about a year and a half ago. I would say not this last Thanksgiving, the Thanksgiving before. Timelines are still messed up in my head. But our 2-year-old fell, and it turned into, just fell from standing, which was later on found out was her nerves probably giving out. It wasn't from, running and injuring herself, but just collapsing. She ended up having a tumor, and it was stage 4 in her lungs and had spread throughout her body. And so from Thanksgiving, when she fell, when we started doing, getting her into be seen, because she'd never been seen by a doctor. I'm a nurse. I don't take my kids to the doctor. I
Yeah,
just
you're
solve
handling
them.
things.
Yeah. Yeah. So
It was more than just a cold.
yes.
Yeah.
And so from then to right before Christmas, we were at Primary Children's where she started her chemotherapy. And honestly, it was surreal to see how our community and friends and family reached out. I mean, I was in my own bubble. I didn't see any of it, but my husband and our friends and family, created this event in Facebook, and this so much love and so many prayers sent our way. So through all that darkness, we had a lot of light to be thankful for. And now here we are, a year and a half later, and we just got back from our Disney World trip for Lily's Make-A-Wish. She is now turning 4. So when she was 3, we celebrated cancer-free in
Cancer-free 3.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Cancer-free in 3. And so this year she got to take her Make-A-Wish trip, which we are so grateful. That's another mission of our own. But this experience that our family went through, it was, a lot of darkness, but so much light. And even my nurses, they were the first response in a crisis time of mine when we presented to the hospital. That was the most beautiful thing, because they were there for me in my crisis.
Yeah.
It makes me cry.
It's okay. You can cry. This is a
cry.
cry-worthy
This
thing.
is a safe-
No, I
so
forgot, because I
cry-worthy.
wanted to say something like this at our thing, but now I know I'll cry. But our nurses were there to just be that handhold.
Support.
Yeah. Which is the beautiful thing about
And I remember that,
medical
that's
providers.
making me cry. I mean, that's so memorable that how could our victims not appreciate this?
Right. So you mentioned to us that that's one of the reasons that you do this, because it was given to you and you feel the need to pay that forward and give it back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love that.
Thank you.
Leaving a legacy for Lily.
Yeah.
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 We are so incredibly grateful that
Yes.
she's doing well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I know. It's a miracle. Yes. And so,
That is a miracle, because you don't hear stage 4
no.
very often where they do
Especially
make
lungs. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I could go on a whole other tangent on that. When I went rogue, I got to be your medical advocate. And it was an experience we'll never forget. But she never once got sick. She was the happiest person ever. And she was the poster child for how everything good that could happen, it was good for her.
I'm so grateful that you had that experience with Primary Children's, because we hear it again and again and again. And I'm sure it's not universal. I'm sure things are, don't go great for people. But the 8 weeks my daughter at 2.5 pounds at birth spent at U of U, I always tell people all the time, they were angels on earth. I couldn't have asked for better care for my child. Even though they would do it different now because we've learned so much in the last 26 years, I wouldn't have a child alive if it hadn't been for what they had provided for me and my family. And I'm sure you could attest to the same thing, that you wouldn't have a child alive if these people weren't doing that work.
Yes, we're so lucky we live in a world that we can have people specialize in a scope that they are more passionate about, like nurses who want to care for children. Not every nurse wants to do that, just like taking care of sex assault patients. I'm so happy we all have
different
ambition
talents
and talents.
gifts.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that we're
But
all
you
using
are
them.
that person for people too. I mean, because
In
you
my niche,
specialize as
yep.
become a SANE certified nurse, and those people need that life-saving care just as much as a cancer patient.
Absolutely.
Because a sexual assault patient's life might end unexpectedly because of the trauma that they've been through. And you're needed for that life-saving care as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. So thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
So they can go to it's 1614revival.org.
Yes.
Or FERN on Facebook, FERN on Facebook. Get all of that information. It's June 13th, so coming right around the corner.
Yes.
Go have a blast celebrating music in the decades and help a good cause.
Yes.
Yes.
And there's food involved, so
It's all good. Music,
Yes.
food, a good
gifts,
reason.
raffles. I didn't even mention the raffles, but
Yeah, so
it's gonna be
wonderful.
amazing.
Okay.
Raffles, schmaffles. We're fine. Like, we'll just show up and
We'll just show up and dance.
yeah, sing.
Yep.
Wonderful.
Yeah, there we go. All right, Amanda, thank you so much for
Yes,
coming in.
thank you.
Thanks for joining us today on the We Share podcast.
If you've loved what you've heard, please give us a 5-star rating. Tell your friends and share this show.
You can also follow us for recipes, lifestyle and fashion tips, book reviews, and more on WeSharePodcast.com.
Join our Share Squad and sign up for our newsletter there.
We would love to connect with you.
We share on TikTok, Pinterest, Facebook, and Instagram. Give us a follow.
A big goodbye squeeze and sending you all our love from Alex and Julie.
Join us next week on the We Share podcast.